mentioned our next guest, who I was very excited to get to. It's not often we talk 10-pin bowling on this show, but this morning we are going to. Let's get to Jason Belmonte.
Bear, and he wins.
For the title! Got it! SummerSlam! Super Slam! Complete.
Well, he is a 5-time PBA Player of the Year, an absolute superstar at his sports. He plays on the PBA Tour in the United States and all across the world. Jason Belmonte is his name. Jason, thanks for your time.
Mate, no worries at all. Thanks for having me on the show.
Where do we find you today? Are you back in Australia?
Mate, I am. I'm on a little bit of property that I own. We had a camp out with the family last night, so we figured we'd get out of the house and go to go on the land a little bit and get a bit of a campfire, roast some marshmallows, and watch a little bit of bush TV for a change. It was a lot of fun.
And where were you when the whole coronavirus and the seriousness of it sort of struck? Were you in the States? And if so, how difficult was it to get back?
Yeah, mate, we were just about to complete the World Championship, major championship. So we had one more day left, and news was kind of circulating through the PBA Tour that this coronavirus was more than likely going to start closing down airports, cities, and even countries. So we waited the one extra day, and so did the Professional Bowlers Association. We had a zero crowd attendance for the day. We had social distancing in place. Only competitors, immediate family, and necessary staff were inside the bowling facility. So that was a really weird thing to do and a very odd experience to compete on for a world championship with no one there watching. Then as soon as that tournament was done, my family and I, we flew home.
And what has been the update from the sport and the authorities? Like, when is the sport suspended to? Clearly, with international athletes, it adds a different dimension and makes it really difficult to regather. But how long has it been suspended for, and how often are they keeping you updated?
Yeah, they're doing pretty good at keeping us updated. I think the hard thing for them is, they're finding dates that they think they could be ready, but that doesn't mean that the world will be ready, So from a business perspective, from a venue perspective, from, even the players' perspective, a lot of the players would be ready to go by, say August or September, but that's not to suggest that, the laws and regulations will have changed by then. I know international travel from Australia is probably a really long way away from that actually happening. So I have to come to a conclusion that, maybe for the rest of this season, I'll be enjoying family time and maybe working on my game, but competing might be a little bit tricky. So I guess at the end of the day, we're all waiting to see what happens. We're trying to do our best to flatten the curve and, do the right thing as a community, but we just don't know what's going to be tomorrow. So we just have to wait.
Now, not everyone has a bowling set up in their backyard or in their house, a bowling lane. How are you practicing? What are you doing to make sure you don't get a bit rusty with the skills?
Yeah, that's a good question. My son is an avid bowler too. We love to go bowling together, and we're finding the plastic pins set up in the corridor at home has turned out to be a pretty decent lane. Although the one thing I will say is he's better than me at carpet bowling than real bowling. So it's given him this false sense of confidence that he thinks he's going out on field with me when COVID, we get past all of this because he's beating me in the corridor.
How old is he?
He's 8 tomorrow.
Oh, happy birthday to him. Now, while we are on the family, your wife's a registered nurse as well, so she is absolutely at the front line of this whole situation. How is she coping, and what's it like day to day living with a nurse who continually probably puts herself in harm's way for the benefit of everyone else?
Yeah, look, I think it's been a really emotional time for Kimberly. I mean, she's a very empathetic person by nature, and I haven't met a more selfless person. She's always looking to give herself to the need of whoever, not just in nursing, but just throughout her entire relationship. I've seen this happen. So when this is going down, she sees a lot of the hardships that is happening, and I think for her, going to work allows her to contribute in that way. It's not easy. The hospitals and the way that everything is formatted there, there are hot spots and cold spots where, if you are a potential carrier of the virus, you get moved to certain areas. So the structure of the hospital's changing significantly, and she's learning all of those things every single day. There's a new protocol that they implement. But at the end of the day, she comes home and she tells me how amazing the staff are, how incredible the government has been in implementing these things, and the support network for the nurses and doctors that are on the front line. Our government has really stepped up in that area. So I guess I'm really proud of her, and as far as I'm aware, she's corona-free still. That's a good thing.
That's the most important thing, that everyone is safe, and our best to your family and the work that she's doing. It's unbelievable. Jason, thanks for the chat. I mean, it's great. We don't often speak about 10-pin bowling on the show, but the great thing about, not the great thing, but the more positive thing about this is we do get to shine a light on some sports that perhaps don't get the coverage that they deserve, and you're an absolute star in your field. It's been a pleasure to get you on the show, and we'll follow your progress with interest and can't wait to see you back out there.
Yeah, mate, I appreciate it. Thank you very much, and stay home, everyone listening.
And if you want to check out more of Jason's work, he's got a great YouTube group called Dude Perfect. Check it out. They have a compilation of some crazy bowling trick shots, so skillful. And